श्री महाभारत कथा। श्री महाभारत कथा। महाभारत कथा। कथा है पुरुषार्थ की, ये स्वार्थ की, परमार्थ की सारथी जिसके बने श्री कृष्ण भारत पार्थ की। शब्द दिग्घोषित हुआ जब सत्य सार्थक सर्वथा। शब्द दिग्घोषित हुआ। यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत, अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां, धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे।
And the drops of tears which rolled down her eyes formed a great river, and that river began to follow the footsteps of the wife of the great ascetic Bhrigu. And Paloma replied, O possessor of the 6 attributes, I was identified to the Rakshasa by Agni, the god of fire. And he, the Rakshasa, bore me away, who cried like the Karari, female osprey. And it was only by the ardent splendor of this thy son that I was rescued, for the Rakshasa, this infant, let me go, and himself falling to the ground was turned into ashes. Bhrigu, upon hearing this account from Paloma, became exceedingly enraged. And in excess of passion, the Rishi cursed Agni, saying, Thou shalt eat of all things. Yiwu, Yael. The god of fire, enraged at the curse of Bhrigu, thus addressed the Rishi, What meaneth this rashness, O Brahmana, that thou hast displayed towards me? What transgression can be imputed to me who is laboring to do justice and speak the truth impartially? Being asked, I gave the true answer. A witness who, when interrogated about a fact of which he hath knowledge, representeth otherwise than it is, ruineth his ancestors and descendants both to the 7th generation. Having, by ascetic power, multiplied myself, I am present in various forms, in places of the daily Homa, at sacrifices extending for years, in places where holy rites are performed, such as marriage, etc., and at other sacrifices. The Devas are the waters, the Pitris are also the waters. The Devas have with the Pitris an equal right to the sacrifices called Darshas and Purnamasas. The Devas, therefore, are the Pitris, and the Pitris, the Devas. At the new moon, the Pitris, and at the full moon the Deva, are fed through my mouth, eating of the clarified butter that is poured on me. Being, as I am, their mouth, how am I to be an eater of all things, clean and unclean? Then Agni, after reflecting for a while, withdrew himself from all places, from places of the daily Homa of the Brahmanas, from all long-extending sacrifices, from places of holy rites, and from other ceremonies. Without their omas and vashats, and deprived of their swatas and swahas, sacrificial mantras during offerings, the whole body of creatures became much distressed at the loss of their sacrificial fire. They represented to him all about the curse on Agni, and the consequent interruption of all ceremonies. And they said, O thou greatly fortunate! Once Agni hath been cursed by Bhrigu for some reason. Ni. And the creator of the universe, hearing these words of theirs, summoned Agni to his presence. And Brahma addressed Agni, the creator of all and eternal as himself, in these gentle words. Indeed, being the mouth of the gods, and also the first who eateth of what is offered in sacrifices, the eater also of the sacrificial butter, how will Agni be reduced to the condition of one who eateth of all things promiscuously? Thou art the creator of the worlds, and thou art their destroyer. Thou preserves the three worlds, and thou art the promoter of all sacrifices and ceremonies. Therefore behave thyself so that ceremonies be not interrupted. O thou of flames, the flame that is in thy viler parts shall alone eat of all things alike. And the creator of the universe, hearing these words of theirs, summoned Agni to his presence. And Brahma addressed Agni, the creator of all and eternal as himself, in these gentle words. Thou art the creator of the worlds, and thou art their destroyer. The body of thine which eateth of flesh, being in the stomach of all carnivorous animals, shall also eat of all things promiscuously. And as everything touched by the sun's rays becometh pure, so shall everything be pure that shall be burnt by thy flames. And the rishis began to perform as before their ceremonies and sacrifices. And the gods in heaven and all creatures of the world rejoiced exceedingly. And Agni too rejoiced in that he was free from the prospect of sin. And such is the ancient history connected with the destruction of the Rakshasa, Paloma, and the birth of Kayavana. Thus endeth the 7th section of the Paloma Parva of the Adi Parva of the blessed Mahabharata. And that son was the illustrious Pramati of resplendent energy. And I shall relate to you in detail, O Brahmana, the entire history of Ruru, of abundant energy. Formerly there was a great rishi called Stulakesa, possessed of ascetic power and learning, and kindly disposed towards all creatures. Viswavasu, the king of the Gandharvas, it is said, had intimacy with Manaka, the celestial dancing girl. And the Apsara, Manaka, O thou of the Vrigu race, when her time was come, brought forth an infant near the hermitage of Stulakesa. And dropping the newborn infant on the banks of the river, O Brahmana, Manaka, the Apsara, being destitute of pity and shame, went away. And the rishi, Stulakesa, of great ascetic power, discovered the infant lying forsaken in a lonely part of the riverside.
विश्व